Oh, hello, JJ DiGeronimo here, and I'm super excited to have this exclusive interview with Elise and Rose today. They are planning a retreat in Egypt, which is one of my bucket list places to go, and especially on a retreat with Elise, to level up, to work with light codes, to expand our awareness, and even let go of things that are no longer serving them. So when Elise was telling me about her retreat next month, I just had to get the behind the scenes. So Elise, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us on. I love your title, Is Egypt Calling You? I did not know it was calling me, but it has come in full force. And I just am so excited to offer the invitation to those who might have thought, wow, that would be a cool bucket list thing to do, right? Like, how would I even navigate that? How would I do that? This will be my third time going in 13 months. So to say I know Egypt very well. I definitely have friends there. I actually just spoke with Nancy today, who is the owner of the private tour company that I was blessed to be introduced to. And I'm super excited to go again. And I just thank you for having this platform, JJ, because I know that there are women out there that uh, that will resonate with this, that will feel the call. And one thing I know about Egypt is you just know. You just know. I hear it all the time. People will schedule a call with me and say, I don't, as soon as I heard you talk, as soon as I heard more about it, I just knew I had to be there. And that is the energy of Egypt. That is a little bit more about Rose will talk about with the Egypt grid and the light codes. For me, it has been something that I honestly didn't feel that called to do. I love traveling, as you know, I'm always going off somewhere, so I'll never say no. But it was a woman who wanted to pass on these uh, connections that she had in this incredible country. And I said yes. And the first time I kind of sat back and looked at what was going on, and it was more than I could have ever imagined, with incredible guides, an incredible Egyptologist, incredible five-star resorts, private yacht down the Nile, and private access to the temples in the early mornings. And I will say, since going a couple times and people know I go, I hear either, yeah, I had a great time. It was wonderful. The temples were great, or I hated it, but nobody's having the experiences we're having. And that is why I organically spread the word this way, because nobody is doing it this way. And
Oh,
thank you for having us on,
yeah.
hearing more
Well,
about it.
frequencies attract, as you know. So that's the most amazing thing. Our frequencies attracted over a year ago, and it is definitely on my list. And so, just for those listening that are thinking of Egypt, I mean, this is different. This is different than booking your own trip or booking a trip and signing up for a tour. This is an elite or a luxury experience that not only provides wonderful accommodations, as you mentioned with the chef, but you're getting behind the scene tours with locals that you've been there how many times now?
This will be my third time, and I've spent 2 weeks. So I've been there a month out of the last 12.
So it's you're just having these relationships you're building every time you're making it better. And we're going to bring Rose on here because now you're coupling with other light workers to even enhance the experience. But before we jump into Rose, I just want to kind of hit something head on because I just want people to just get this off their plate. Because one thing I hear all the time is
Mhm.
fear of going to Egypt. So let's just chat about that for a minute and then we're going to go into the amazing experience you're creating.
Yes, and I that's something I don't think about, obviously, because I've been there. One thing I know is media hypes up so many things, so many different ways, right? But as Marianne Williamson, Course in Miracles says, we can either be in fear or we can be in love. And I have chosen to be in love with Egypt. And yes, of course, there is concerns as far as I'm going to double check things. But one thing, going with a company and a family that are natives is different. At times, we do have private security. The other thing is we're 14 of us max, and we're on our own. We're just having our own. We're in our own bubble. We are moving just the 14 of us. We go to the temples, no joke. We go to the Temple of Isis on the island at 5, 6 in the morning. There's nobody there. You know, we're doing things. We're not going to busy places. We're not going to, I mean, the museum would be the busiest thing we do, but we're not going to go, on a super busy day, because that's not the experience that we're going there for. We are going on a truly beautiful, incredible luxury trip with all of this added frequency and energy and light codes, which just makes it so special. Uh, the I've never once been in any compromising situation when I've been there. And with that said, we have boots on the ground that are telling me. That's one of my calls today. Nancy and I talked, and she's like, everything's business as usual. Egyptians are loving, and they definitely love people coming to hear about their ancient history and their ancient cultures. And it is just, it's an incredible experience.
Oh my goodness, that's exciting. That's exciting. We're going to bring Rose on here because I know this time's a little bit different for you. This
Yes.
is really sort of calling women, women that are in transition, women that are looking for that next level. And you and Rose are working together. So, Rose, I'm going to bring you on to talk a little bit about what you're bringing to this retreat.
Hello, loves. Yeah. So I think why Elise and I are such an amazing duo is because we both offer different energies. Elise is really a master with biohacking, and she has taught me about biohacking. She's going to be bringing a lot of the biohacking tools with her on the yacht for you guys to experience. And I think, my more work has been more in the etheric realms. I've been studying the ancient history of Egypt with my teachers over the past few years and really been energetically working with the codes that the sacred land holds. And when I went to Egypt with my teacher in 2023, I was able to then physically be there to receive those codes and work with the energy, work with the gods and the goddesses that lived there and that still energetically live there. And going there is a whole different experience than us just, calling in Sekhmet or calling in Hathor, right? We can call these energies and work with these ascended masters wherever we are across the world, right? But going there and physically being there and in those temples, it's a different energy. And so, what I love about the duo between Elise and I is I feel like we really balance this masculine and feminine energy within us of physically taking care of the body, but then also doing the soul work, doing the deep energy work, and really coming into alignment in all aspects of life. And that's why I'm super excited to partner with Elise.
That's so really interesting. And I feel like this is just starting to bubble up more to mainstream. So, when you think about Egypt, what does that do for you with your work? Is that something that was in your sphere already, or how do you think it's going to take your work to the next level?
Well, like I said, I've been working with the ancient history of Egypt for the past few years, just for myself, right? Just for my own healing and my own remembrance of my past lives, healing my ancestral lineage, and really stepping into what I call a priestess, which is a woman fully embodied in her gifts and in her womanhood. And so that's been my path for myself over the past few years. And as that has embodied more and more, then I've started to teach that to my clients and my students, right? And so, although this is my first time bringing a group physically to Egypt, when we start to work with these codes, they're now living in our auric field and then they are transmitted to our students, right? Through podcasts, through one on one sessions, through full moon ceremonies. So, all of the work that I do, there are these ancient Egypt codes that are already weeding through and moving through. Everybody who experiences my work is going to either consciously or subconsciously feel that. And so bringing a group physically to Egypt is just going to allow a more intimate experience for the people joining to receive the work that I've done, the work that's there for us to do together collectively as well.
And so if you had to sort of earmark a person that is a good fit to join both of you in Egypt, where would that person be on their journey?
I would say it's somebody that's really ready to go to the next level with their relationship with their spirit team, their spirit guides, and someone who is willing to look at the uncomfortable things. When we go to Egypt, when we sign up to go to Egypt, and Elise and I are already seeing this, when we decide to go to Egypt with a group that is going to do some of this deeper work, I'm not just saying go to Egypt on a vacation, right? When we sign up for this deeper work in Egypt, we are going to be confronted with challenging situations, triggers, things coming up out of nowhere, possibly for us to look at. And this happened to me the first time I went to Egypt. I know this is happening for Elise as well right now. And I know this is happening for some of the students that have already signed up to come to Egypt with us. Things are coming up in their reality for them to look at. And that's because Egypt is a purifier. Right? The codes that are held in Egypt purify us so that we can raise to the next level of frequency. And so that means that whoever is ready to go to Egypt is someone who's ready to do this purification work. They're willing to go into the initiation. They're willing to look at what no longer serves that, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a trauma, a limiting belief, whatever it is, they're going to be pushed to look at that by signing up to go to Egypt. So it has to be someone who has that willingness and um, that desire on their healing journey to actually do the work it takes to get to the next level.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. And I have to say, I don't know many people that go on a spiritual journey to Egypt and expect to come back the same. And I know from your experience, both of you, of going there, the agenda, which you can click on the link below. It is an amazing lineup of activities, experiences, and people that you bring not only with you, but also join you at this and on this retreat in Egypt. So I'm super excited to learn more. So, kind of as we're closing out, and bring you both back to kind of talk about anything else you want to share about the experience, even the dates, or anything else people have to keep in mind. So, Rose, I'll just start with you. If there's anything else you want to add for people listening that maybe want to get a little bit more information or are still trying to decide, is this for me?
Yeah, I will just say if you're questioning it, feel into if it's a yes for you. I totally agree with what Elise said. She knew she had to go. She knew she had the calling, no matter what's going on in the world, no matter about the finances, no matter about the logistics. If you are meant to be in Egypt, you will feel it within your heart. And I knew when my teacher, who I had been working with for the past few years, when my teacher announced that she was taking a trip to Egypt, I knew I had to be there. And I went through my initiations and I made it happen. And what I'll say is when I got to Egypt with the group, there was 13 of us total. My teacher said, every single person is here for a reason. There was over 20 people, 20 other people that applied to be here, and you were one of the 12 people that Spirit told me needed to be there. And so feel into your heart if Egypt is calling to you. Look around for a sign. Maybe you'll see an Egyptian energy or a photo somewhere, and ask for a clear answer if you're meant to be here with us, and you'll know within yourself if it's right for you.
Yes, and on that too, this is my third tour of taking small groups, like I said, 14 or less. The only reason we even have spots left is because there was a shift. I went to Egypt in October. When I got back, two couples for different reasons couldn't attend, couldn't continue going with us in February. And when I looked at the people going, I was like, oh, it's all women, and women coming by themselves, not with their spouse, not with their sister, not with their friend. And I'm like, oh, and the commonality in all these groups is everyone knows me. And I start to look and say, oh, I know what she's, oh, and she, and that's when I called Rose and said, Rose, uh, we need to talk about Egypt in like the next 3 months, because all of a sudden Egypt spoke and kind of shifted my group into this beautiful group that's going. And that's why it's different than any other trip. Normally I have couples, I have men and women. This trip is only women. We do have one gay man, Stephen, and he absolutely knows that he's the only man on the ship, and he's totally fine with that, other than our crew and our Ahmed and all of our wonderful family there already. But I just know that there's, Rose and I got together and I said, I just know that Egypt is calling a few more. I just know that we're going to be full. We're going no matter what. We're set. We are going no matter what. But I just wanted to give one last invitation to those out there that might be saying, I never thought in a million years I would be able to go to Egypt by myself or with my sister. I mean, I'm not saying you can't come, you have to come alone. That's just kind of how it's presented. So I'm excited to see who's there, because every single group I've taken has been completely different. And when I think of mixing up the groups, it wouldn't have worked. So we just have to trust, step into the unknown, and see. Lead with your heart.
Uh, I love that. And I just want to thank you for sharing this opportunity with my community.
Yes.
As you know, I'm constantly bringing light workers, healers, and ancient practices together so that people can find what works for them. And although this is a big leap for some, it's perfectly aligned for others. And I know that I will be on a future trip with you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you so much. We'll love to have you.
Yeah.
Mm. Well, with that, the links below for you to check out more details, to connect with Rose and Elise. And if you have any questions for any of them, you can find them on social. Their social pages will be below. And I look forward to hearing who fills up the last few seats.
Great. Thank you.
Yes. Many blessings.
Many blessings. Thank you so much. And I hope you'll give us a recap of some sort when you get back.
Yes, we will.
I will love that. Well, with that, we're signing off. Thank you so much for joining. For more information, please visit the links below and have a fabulous enlightened trip.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, love.